I mean, it's 3 years on. Cytonn is, in many sense, a startup, even up to now. Yeah, but now looking at the image of the brand as it is, the sort of positioning that you've done in the market, I hear of not just one brand of Cytonn. I hear of Cytonn Cooperative, Cytonn Investment, Cytonn Real Estate. I mean, it looks like in 3 years, the brand Cytonn has actually evolved into so many different units. Could you just tell us about Cytonn in terms of the group and what you do?
Okay. Now, two things there. One, what does Cytonn do? And two, whether it's a startup. Let me start with the easy one. Again, perception and reality. The team, especially at the leadership level, has worked together for the last 5 years. Same people doing same thing, just in a different brand. We have networks and clients that we've known over many, many years. So I would not look at Cytonn as a startup in the traditional sense of somebody sitting up, thinking of an idea and starting to see if it will work. This is a team that has been together for the last 5 years, is very skilled in investment management, whether it's equities, fixed income, private equity, or real estate, and has relationships and networks. So the brand is new, but the team and the trade, it's something we are very experienced on. What does Cytonn do? We raise money, we invest it in high growth opportunities, and we return the money to our clients. We raise money in one of 4 ways. Through Cytonn Diaspora, the Washington, D.C. based office that spends time doing nothing other than raising money from Kenyans in the diaspora. Then we have Cytonn Cooperative. Cytonn Cooperative is to allow the bottom of the pyramid, the ordinary mwananchi, to be able to invest into our high growth products or our high returning products. Then we have Cytonn Private Wealth. That is a company that spends time collecting money from individual high net worth investors who want exposure to these high growth opportunities. And then we have Cytonn Investment, which is focused on talking to institutions. Our largest institutional investor is Taleri out of Finland, talking to institutions who want to invest into this high growth region. If you look at what's happening around the world, global investors don't have access to as good returns as they can get in sub-Saharan Africa. So those are the 4 places where we raise money. When we get this money, we invest it in either real estate or private equity. Our biggest business is the real estate business, where around 95% of the funds we raise go into real estate. Real estate is done by Cytonn Real Estate, which is our development affiliate. We develop, we sell, we get the money, and we return it to this one of 4 pools of capital. So that's what Cytonn does, just raising money, putting in alternative assets, returning it to the individuals. Why alternative assets? If you look at returns by asset class, over the last 5 to 6 years, alternative assets, real estate, private equity have returned roughly 20 to 25% per annum, year in, year out, compounded over the last 5 to 6 years. Equities, fixed income, 10 to 12%. So where would you want to put your money? Of course, alternative assets. But there are not many local, indigenous, alternative asset managers. So that's the opportunity that we saw, that the regular Kenyan is in equities and fixed income, yet the returns are in private equity and real estate. Most of the private equity and real estate players are actually global institutional players. So why do we let only foreign players, while Kenya is an open market and they are welcome? We should also promote local players to play into that private equity and real estate space.
There was a recent law, actually, the law capping interest rates that has been talked about a lot.
Yeah.
The focus has more or less been on the banking sector. But obviously, this is going to have an impact across the whole economy. And I just want to hear from you what you think the impact is going to be from an investment perspective, not just on the financial sector.
The financial sector.
Yeah.
The impact is beginning to show. If you look at business sentiment over the last few months, it's going down. It's not off the cliff, it's not dropping, but it's going down slowly. if you look at access to funding for what I would call the not so prime borrowers, it's going down. So I think the impact to the economy, generally speaking, is going to be negative. If you are a corporate or if you are a prime borrower, it's going to be good, because then the bank is going to restrict their lending only to corporates and to prime borrowers. Subprime borrowers will have difficulty. They'll have to go to alternative areas of financing. So generally, I can't see how it could be positive, because there's no way a bank is going to lend you money at 14% with all the risk that I bring as an individual, if they can lend to the government at 15%, because that's the rate at which government is taking 5-year money. So why lend to individuals if you can lend to the government? Then if you must lend, because you can't lend entirely to the government, then you're also just going to lend to credit-worthy corporates and credit-worthy individuals. So all in all, I don't think it's going to have a good impact, and I believe at some point we will come together and undo this law.
I'm curious to find out, because you mentioned you obviously have large investors, but you also have the small investors putting in money through the cooperatives. How is the cooperative doing in terms of raising funds?
The cooperative, to be honest, is our weakest business, but also we've not focused on it. It was not what I would call proactive strategic decision. It was a reactive strategic decision, because we had people coming to us with investments below our minimum, and initially we were turning them down, and then we had concerns in the market that Cytonn is being seen as a elitist high-end brand that turns away the ordinary Kenyan. So we came up with this cooperative so that when somebody walks into our doors and they don't meet the minimums we have for individuals, then we have a product for them. It has not been our greatest business so far, so in terms of its contribution to assets, it's really negligible. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you said you have applied for a license as a fund manager?
Yes, for Cytonn Asset Management.
Cytonn Asset Management, yes.
So that we can now be able to access pension funds, because pension funds would want you to have a regulated entity for them to feel that there's some sort of big brother behind you. So Cytonn Asset Management is really primarily for pension funds, but also to do unit trust funds. Yeah.
I mean, talking about the pension business, it's really grown in this country. Looking at the likes of ICA, Lion, and Pine Bridge and so on, that have been very focused on the pension market. Yeah. Do you feel there's still an opportunity in the pension fund management business?
Not the general pension fund management business, but to provide alternative investment, high returning alternative investment into the pension market. So instead of allocating, as they have allocated today, almost, I want to say, 95% into equities and fixed income, we should do what I would call a more responsible allocation, where you're supposed to allocate 20% into alternatives. So it is that pie for alternatives that we are interested in. We are not interested in general equities and fixed income. Now, if you're talking about alternative investments for pension, there's really no competition. Every pension manager, and you know them, every pension manager is a public markets pension manager. Very few are skilled and proven track record real estate and private equity managers.
The last 3 years have been really great for you. But where do you see Cytonn in 5 years' time?
Now, in 5 years' time, we want, or we will be, the leading alternative investment manager in the region, certainly in East Africa, but we should at least have picked one more sub-Saharan region, whether it's Western Africa or Southern Africa, because within 7 to 10 years, we certainly should be across the sub-Saharan continent. Within 5 years, it should be the leading brand in alternative investments in at least 2 significant sub-Saharan regions, Eastern Africa and one more.
And what will it take to get there?
Just the same things we've talked about, although you have to focus on people. We always have a spot open. When we get a good person, even if there's no job, we will create a job for them, because we know it's hard to get good people. You have to focus on aligning them. making sure that they wake up every day coming here, not because they need to, but because their passion pulls them. You have to make sure your products are the best. If you look at some of the products we have in this market, whether it's our real estate for end users or real estate investments or things like cash management solution, we give the best risk-adjusted return. You have to make sure your processes, your clients, when they deal with you, it's an enjoyable process. You have to have an distribution network that gets to them. That's why we are increasing our offices. We started by this office here in Liaison. We started another one at Chancery. We are opening an office in Westlands, and we have a plan on how to roll out the Cytonn brand further into the countries and then across the region. So I would say it's just doing what we've always been doing, but maybe just a little faster now. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.